Good evening. Welcome to our first in a series of several readings associated with the Frost Place Conference on Poetry and Teaching. Tonight, it's my deep pleasure to welcome the Associate Director of the Frost Place Conference on Poetry and Teaching, Kerrin McCadden. Kerrin is the author of American Wake, recently released by Black Sparrow Press. Her debut collection, Landscape with Plywood Silhouettes, won the Vermont Book Award and the New Issues Poetry Prize. Her chapbook, Keep This to Yourself, was awarded the Button Poetry Prize. Kerrin has received a National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship and the Sustainable Arts Foundation Writing Award. Her poems have appeared in American Poetry Review, Los Angeles Review, New England Review, and Plowshares. She is, as I said, Associate Director of the Frost Place Conference on Poetry and Teaching and Associate Poetry Editor at Presea Books. She teaches at the Center for Technology in Essex, Vermont, and lives in South Burlington, Vermont. Kerrin, we're so glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dawn, and welcome everyone to the Frost Place and our wonderful. I need to unmute myself after a year of teaching online. It's great to start a reading muted. That's like classic, right? I think that's now like the new good look. I wanted to welcome everyone to the Frost Place and to our readings this week. And if you are here from outside the Frost Place, just welcome you to look into the programming we offer. It's a wonderful organization. I'm going to be reading from my book, American Wake, tonight. And for those of you who are at the conference, I'm going to try to read work that maybe you haven't heard before. I'm going to start tonight with Seal Bride. Seal Bride. Having stolen back my skin, I lub across rocks, slip into water, my closable nostrils, my closable ears. No one can tell me what to do here. I welter and lumber in all directions, fusiform, my flippers like wings. I may be a fallen angel, or my brother may be, I don't know. First I am thinking, and then I am not. First I am remembering, and then I am eating a fish, my sharp teeth mine. Below, veins of telecommunications cable I have no need for, no emails of mine going anywhere anymore. A few, maybe, trying to find me. I go down. Above the sky, a shiny toy, a building set of tinsel and sequins knocked down through the sea. I can go anywhere, push away with my hind flippers and press my nose forward, skyward, corkscrewward. You know what I will say next. It is easy to forget why I came here. It is easy to forget why I left, the phone cord ripped from the wall, my body not mine. There were so many ways to divide by 7. Which year would be my last there? The mountain air was a liar. The swallows were liars too. They came back, they came back. They played in the sky, they dove, they sat on wires, built nests on the porch lights, said with mud and straw, this is home. I believed them, the flying fish of them, their iridescence, the way they knew the sky. This is not that place. I am alone and not alone here, free. Sometimes the water is a hollow, nothing to see but seagrass waving and one white fish. So vast I am granular, a speck, a nothing. And sometimes there is everything, clouds of fish, threats threading past. I may never find any way to love, and I may not find any way to love. I may, among the wrecked ships, the rusted husks and split cable, find that I am the broken dinnerware, the linens, my dead friends sent back to find me in the half-light. Monsters and shipwrecks, monsters and shipwrecks. I put my nose to submarine cables reaching across the Atlantic and whisker confessions out of them. Answers as inscrutable as the stars on the whale shark's back, her mouth a cave I almost can't resist. That poem was written in response to Adrienne Rich's diving into the wreck. This next poem is the title poem of my book. It's called American Wake, and it starts with a little epigraph from a song in Donegal, Ireland, which says, "The land is too small to serve all, and we must cross the sea." And if you don't know what an American Wake is, it's the wake that was held for a young person leaving Ireland for the United States. And it was an all-night affair, just like a regular Irish wake, and people would eulogize the young person who was leaving, and they would play games and sing and dance and drink and smoke pipes and give blessings to the person. And then in the morning they would walk them to the dock to go away forever. So the reason for the wake was because the ocean marked a permanent passage to another plane of existence. American Wake. Hold awake for the living, the leaving. Stop the clocks and turn the mirrors. Tell stories, smoke and eat and drink. It was never a question of whether they'd leave, but when. Play games to pass the time, not to check that the dead are dead, but to lift a lesser God. Tell what you've heard about the new world. Later, all you will be able to tell is what you remember. Let the keener loose on the night. Let the house wail. Sing the songs. Let pipes keep evil at bay. Square off with your child and dance. Let the neighbors whose baby was born with a call lend it, a charm against drowning. Give dry cakes for the passage, a box of eggs. Roast frogs, grind them to a powder, and bake into bread to safeguard against fever. Take no shortcuts to the dock. This is it. The bees will tell the other world who's gone. And there's another poem in the book called, I wasn't going to read this, but I just realized it's a companion poem to that, and as more of a present day kind of similar experience. So I've been thinking a lot about this idea of immigration and how permanent it was and has been for so many people, and how for me as a contemporary person, it's kind of a luxury, and I can decide to go to Ireland when I have the means and come back on a plane, and it's 6 hours, I'm there, I'm back. And this poem is inspired, it's called In the Harbor, and it's inspired by an illustration of people saying goodbye to people who are leaving for America from Ireland. And they're in the, it's an illustration of people in the ocean, like up to their hips in waves, waving, like trying to be as close as they can be to the boat that's leaving. In the harbor. I love the moment after buckling the seatbelt in a plane, headed God knows where, anywhere. How I know there is no way to do laundry, dishes, or fix a leak. Everything all fuck it back behind me on the ground once I've lifted off. Which I think is almost, but also nothing like that moment after the Aquitania has started moving. But first the smaller boat in the harbor, which maybe I am on with them when time happens again, starts to move out to sea. Last night we drank all night like I was the new dead one, the stories told again and again like prayers. When we are out to sea, we look back to see faces ringing the shore like a fence, those we love in up to their hips in waves, waving goodbye like mad. This book is obsessed with three, or I guess that's the right word, obsessed with three strands of narrative that mean a lot to me. One is this immigration strand and my grandparents coming over and my being raised with them and sort of rediscovering Ireland as an adult and finding my cousins as an adult. Also poems about love and regaining home after divorce, building a new home, and also losing my brother from my nuclear family to the opioid epidemic. So all the three strands are connected by this idea of the wreckages of home in various ways. So this is a love poem called Obad with Heavy Equipment after Neruda. We wake to Johnson Paving Company's trucks, bringing our new tar, the morning full of steamrollers, the driveway freshly covered while we are away at work, between morning and your steadfast interruptions over our screens at night. where you are a ramshackle shelter inside which I have signed the guest book and every document, deed, license, flight plan, agreement you put in front of me, each of which I send to all recipients I can imagine, saying, yes, I love you, over and over, without decoration or corsages, without instruction manuals, and without analysis. I wait for you to come home from work soon, or you're sorry, soon, or not soon enough. And despite my clothes on the floor, so close to wreckages you will not name, your hand steadies my back as I fall asleep, a shortcut, so few miles as the crow flies that I might dream. Skipping ahead a little bit. And this is a poem. So when I go to Ireland and stay on my grandfather's farm with my father's first cousin, and we're close friends now after finding each other many years into our lives. Often at night he goes off and he runs a taxi company, so I'm alone at the end of a dirt road all night long, and I tend to stay up really late because of jet lag. And sometimes I think I'll go outside and I just walk around, and it's kind of weirdly terrifying. The place feels strangely, I don't know, haunted to me, and sometimes I feel kind of overcome by it. So this is written in response to this idea of feeling haunted on the land. It's called Shaking the Sheets. And and the place name Crook na Moyle is the mountain that our family lived underneath. I'm sorry, I'm checking my timer. Okay. Shaking the sheets. The rain skims Crook na Moyle, invisible waves, until it's my ghost aunt shaking the sheets to smooth them, though she knows already that she is getting nowhere. I make tea and stay in, the collie running in his sleep on the linoleum. I let the days waste away as if I have not come across the world to be here, as if I might ever know the difference between work and rest, as if the woman whose house this was would not turn me away, as if I have found my place. I weigh what I thought against what I know. Let the morning disappear as if disappearances were kind, as if a windmill were some kind of measure. I stay until the fuchsia come and go in the hedge and rowan berries grow inside the ruined house. Some days I don't know what happened, by which I mean I don't know where the days have gone. At night I can't sleep, as if it is my turn to shake the sheets, as if I know more than I should, and she knows that I do. So a couple of poems about my brother. This one is called, let's see, wait a second. I lost one of my stickers. Here we go. Planetarium. It's also a love poem for my husband. Planetarium. I roam the antique shops in town to outfit our new house, bringing home 2 flying saucer lamps, a silver bracelet with a blank field for a name, and a vintage Nova Home planetarium to surprise you, thinking you would be someone who had one as a boy, and set it on the dresser in our bedroom, giddy to show you. I unpack a few boxes, poking around the house like an adventurer who doesn't believe in booby traps. My mother calls to say my brother has overdosed and is gone. Her voice is a long and terrible song that grows a crack in my chest, or my bones double. Our home becomes a replica of a home, twice as big as a place I can call home, then collapses flat. I make some necessary phone calls. Friends come to sit with me in pajamas and listen. That night in bed, I stare at the ceiling and tell you every story. I walk you back with me. I expand too. I want to know where he is, really, where. I have asked so many times now, where is gone? You get up as if to go to the bathroom or some other mundane, dark of night, glass of water chore, and I think, no, not now, but you turn on the planetarium and light up the sky so I can see where he is. These poems are kind of hard to read. There's one of the sort of this idea of inspiration and the muses that we have in our lives and what helps us know what to write. My husband is one of those people where he knows my appetite for imagination and for strangeness and for interesting information. And so he often feeds me stuff that he said, you should write about this. So he asked me if I knew that there had been an alternate speech for Nixon in case the moon landing failed. And I looked it up and read it, and it was intensely beautiful. And the moon landing was 1969, which was the year that my brother was born. So I did an interesting, this is sort of a formal constraint. I only used words from the speech, the alternate speech of Nixon that was written for Nixon. And so this poem is written about my brother using language only and not any words repeated from the alternate speech. It's called In Event of Moon Disaster, which is the title of the speech. And the epigraph just explains what I just said from Nixon's alternative speech in case of a failed moon landing, 1969. The mother should telephone the constellations to find her son. This is a burial at Moonsea. Others to be will follow into the unknown. And whoever looks up at the moon prior to prayer will remain foremost in a state of undermending. There is no recovery for their hope. In ancient times, our heroes looked at stars and saw our hearts stirred in. Families should adopt the same procedure. Nights to come, the brother in the corner of another world will send for friends. They will stay on the moon to rest in peace. So I guess that is in some way kind of like an erasure, right? But it's not. The words aren't taken in order as erasures often are. I think this might be, maybe this is my second to last poem. I'm not really sure. We'll see how far we get. This is called Ashes, and it sort of tells the story of. I'll just read the poem. I think it tells its own story. Ashes. After he is gone, his birth sister calls, finally thinking she has found her brother, too late to meet him for the first time. I can see his face in hers, his sweetness, as if I have always known her, as if she is my sister too. She brings his birth mother's name and birth certificate, what he had never known, names and dates, keys to his past, and I spend the summer hunting for where he came from, ancestor by ancestor, as if they could do anything to make amends. I search as far as I can until records disappear to find a place to lay his ashes to bring him home. I want to find his coordinates. Everything unbelievable happens. Locks open. I promise to keep secrets. I stand in old St. Peter's graveyard under the church tower in a pocket of graves walled inside the city, under a brand new mural of warrior Rory Og O'More and Margaret O'Byrne, and their wolfhounds breaking into the day, the painted giant and his wife standing watch over the unmarked graves of Portlaoise, and over me holding my brother in my hand. A light rain falls, and the woman who secretly lets me in waits out on the sidewalk, telling me to take my time. Here is where my brother's dead must be, or here is the ground where his people gathered for centuries, or here is a horse chestnut tree that has to be 400 years old, that his people must have seen. So there I stand with him, telling him he is home. I let his ashes fall through the ivy growing up the largest tree. Because we never know what to do, because I will never see him again, I fill my raincoat pocket with the tree's conkers. In the game of conkers, children thread them on strings and take turns swinging them, trying to break the other's conker. A game we would have played if we could have, if these trees had grown near us growing up. A conker that has never beat another is a nunner. If two nunners compete and one breaks the other, it's called a oneer. I'll keep going up the country to Donegal, to the bridge over the river at the crossroads to Minadreen. And after a week of carrying the rest of the ashes back and forth into the mountains, we'll put half on one side of the bridge where the water eddies peacefully, and half on the other side where it falls over rocks through the rhododendrons into a tiny cave of a valley and pools there secretly, visited only ever by my family, the only ones who knows it's there, until I'm finished dividing my brother into halves before my flight home. I think I could probably stop there. We're almost at 20 minutes, so I'll stop there. Thank you. It's such a weird feeling to say I'm done, thank you, in a room of nobody. I'll never get over this Zoom thing.
Thank you so much, Kerrin. I realized I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning. I'm Dawn Potter. I direct the Conference on Poetry and Teaching, and I'm really glad you participated, and we're here to listen to Kerrin. Join us tomorrow night when BJ Ward will be reading. Same time, same place. Have a good evening.